Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another lecture on Gamprog 2. So, today we'll be discussing um, event dispatchers in C++ and colliders because those two are a bit related. Okay. So, so how do you, if anyone recalls, how do you create a event dispatcher? Nandito siya, di ba? Event dispatcher. So, kung event dispatcher, again, it's just like an event na parang actors could listen to and actors could um, call or broadcast that message. All right. So if I create an event dispatcher here, like a test dispatcher, if you recall, meron siyang ito, call, bind, and unbind. Pero we don't really usually use this. So si call, it will call mag-broadcast nitong message na to, and whoever is ang naka-bind sa kanya would hear this, right? So yung ginawa natin noon in Gamprog 1, if you recall, ang ginagawa natin noon is we spawn, right? You spawn the actor, yung tile. It's just one of it, yung tile. Tapos, binabind natin. Bind, test. Binabind natin kapag nang-exit si player, tapos mag-exit siya. And here, you would either do like custom event, right? Or gumagamit kayo ng create event. Depende kung saan nyo ginawa to. Kapag nasa function, you can't access this. So, you eventually use this create event. Right. Naalala niyo pa naman, no? Clear pa naman tong idea, right? So, if you're sa game mode, he listens, si tile kinukall yun. Okay. Same thing din sa player. Si player, ang ginawa natin noon is we bound it. We bound sa game mode na if the player dies, parang we listen to the player death. Tapos si player, kapag namatay siya, he calls the player death event dispatcher. Okay? So, refresh lang. Now, in C++, it is quite different. Okay? In order to create first a event dispatcher, you must give it a signature. So, ano yung signature? If you remember this part, yung nag-add tayo ng input, this is technically the signature. Parang ito yung parameters niya for the event dispatcher. So when you like call the event dispatcher, di ba andito siya? Ayan. So ito yung signature niya. Signature niya is meron siyang tile. So if you add more, whatever, that will be its new signature. So ngayon, signature niya is may string siya, tsaka may boolean. So etc. Right? So that's what makes up a event dispatcher. Meron siyang signature, tapos you can call and bind. Same thing. Here, you have to create muna the signature. How do you create the signature? Above the U class and below the includes, this is where we type in our signature. And what does it look like? It's weird. All caps. Dynamic. Oops, sorry. Declare. Dynamic. Multicast. Delegate. This whole thing is a start of how to create the signature. So what we do is we declare a dynamic multicast delegate, which is technically just the event dispatcher. Now, it depends naman kung how many parameters you have. Kung wala kang parameter, kahit ganito na siya. Kung may parameter ka, it depends how many you type in. You have 1 param. You have 2 params. You have 3 params, etc. Okay, so type natin ulit para makita natin. Okay, dynamic. Multicast delegate. Ayun. See? 8 params, 1 param, 7 params, etc. Kung walang parameter, after typing all of this, you have to type in the parentheses. And you'll see here, it said, ano dapat ang nasa loob? The delegate name. So, ang pinakaunang thing that you add, the unang text you add in here, in the parentheses, is always the delegate name. Ang delegate name is always starts with an F. If you recall F is parang hindi siya nakaset talaga. So, it's F. F, like test, param. Or test delegate. So, as is, kung ganito lang, I have a signature that is called F test delegate. Important ang F. Kung wala kang F, when you try to compile this, it will say error. Kailangan mo ng F sa start. Right? So, paano kung ano? Paano kung may param? 1 param. Kung may param, same thing. Oops. You see, it has a test delegate again. So always the start is the name. F delegate 1 param. Signature. It's up to you kung gusto nyo lagay na signature sa dulo. Pero it's good practice na rin because you'll find out that all the delegates here na may signature, they have a signature in the end. Okay? Next one, since say 1 param, I need a parameter type. So, depends kung ano yung mga parameter na gusto nyo. You have a action, di ba? Or you have a action, you have a tile. Pwede to, a tile. Oops. A tile. And then, if it's outside naman of the class, pwede ka nang gumawa ng class, a run character. Pwede ganito. Okay, basta. Ang una is the parameter type. Then, the second, or the third, will be the parameter name. So, parameter name can be anything. You could say just test param name or something. You don't need to do quote and quote. Hindi kailangan yun. Or param name. Okay, so that's not really important. You don't have to follow a certain naming convention here. So finally, you need the semicolon. Right? So kung 2 param naman, 2 params, you just add another comma and then give another param like int 32. And then again, the parameter name, I would put maybe like int value. Okay? So gets na naman. Ang una is the name of the delegate. Name of the signature. And then the next one will be parameter type, and then parameter name. And then, depending on how many params you have, it'll be parameter type, parameter name, parameter type, parameter name, etc. Gets? Gets? Gets naman to? It might be a bit confusing, pero you just have to get used to it. Right now, it's red. Ganun talaga siya sa start. Only if I think if I close this, if I close Visual Studio and open it again, this won't be red anymore. Sige. Yeah, it's a matter of you guys trying this out. So, kung gusto nyo, you could follow me or whatever. Kayo na bala. Next. After creating the... Oops, so sorry. It's only one param since I deleted the others. Since I created the signature, I have to create now the event dispatcher itself. To do that, I can put it in public. It really depends on where I want it to be. I have to use the name of the parameter. In this case, it's fdelegate. Fdelegate one param signature. And then the name of the event dispatcher, like on exited. Finally, we need the proper specifier for it. It is a U property, hindi siya U function. Okay? U property siya. And what do you think will be the U property of this? It's blueprint something. Will it be kaya blueprint edit? No, you don't even need blueprint to start. Blueprint callable. That's a U function. Blueprint something. Okay lang kung di nyo alam. Blueprint editable. That's technically edit anywhere. Right. So, ang U property specifically for event dispatchers is blueprint assignable. Okay. This is only for mga event dispatchers. So if you search here, blueprint assignable, you will see it'll say that it's only used for multicast delegates. Alright, so unexited. Now if you try to compile this, sige, habang nagko-compile yan. Any questions? Nag-crash? There's no reason for it to crash. So it's just Unreal Engine. Sige, habang nangyayari to. Any questions? Anyone? Or clarifications? None. Okay. So, ayun, nag-compile siya. And you'll notice that it's not here. Event dispatchers, right? Wala siya dyan. But if you type in here, on exited, there you have bind. But what is missing here? Ano yung missing dito? You have bind, unbind, all. What is missing here?
Call event.
The call. So if you see on exited here, wala siyang call. Bakit? The calling only works in C++. So if you created the event dispatcher in C++, you can only call it in C++. There's no way for you to call it in the blueprint mismo. Okay, see? Wala siya. Anywhere, kahit saan class, you cannot call it. So hanggang C++ lang. Okay, next. How do we bind? Paano natin i-bind itong event dispatcher? So, if we go to tile, try natin sa begin play. We have on exited. And then period, you'll see you have options here. Ang important dito is itong broad. Sorry. Wala pala dito. So to bind, you need a certain method na wala siya dito. It's a certain macro. Wala siya dito at all. It's called add dynamic. So you see, there's internal add dynamic pero hindi to. It's just add dynamic lang. Tapos, it takes in user object and function name. So okay, this is the only way for you to bind sa mga event dispatcher. So on exited dot add dynamic. Then inside, it asks for a user object and function name. So user object will be this. Ang tanong lang is ano yung function name? So really, it's you don't have to give a function name. You can give the address of a function. So in this case, since the user object is this, I will type in a tile colon and then a function. But this function that that has to be called kailangan specifically for this signature. Kasi naalala nyo, when you try to bind like event dispatcher here na may parameter. Right. If you try to bind new event dispatcher, if you try to bind this, ay wag dito sa event graph. If you try to bind it, ang event dapat is may boolean rin siya. So it cannot take a custom event na walang boolean. So if you try here, hindi niya take because it is looking for a specific signature which is kailangan may boolean. Right? Same thing in C++, it needs a function that has a function or method that has the same signature. So gawa tayo ng function dito. Void on exit. Tapos, since we're using this signature, a tile, I have to use a tile here also. And important rin dito is you have to add ufunction. Okay, so this one, kailangan siya ilagay dito because it will not be called at all. Kahit na ilagay natin dito yung function. Kailangan may ufunction siya. Okay, later I'll show you. So in here, a tile on exit. And you'll see, add dynamic will take it. If hindi siya, sorry, let me just move that there. If hindi siya a tile, or let's say it's empty, magalit si add dynamic. Sasabihin niya, hindi. Di kaya niya. Because it's looking for a specific signature. Kahit gawin natin in 32, hindi niya tatanggapin. Kuha naman. So again, it's the event dispatcher on exited, and then you use add dynamic. Then inside the add dynamic, you depends on where you use on a user object. It's like say this, and then the function name would be ampersand a tile on exit. So see on exit should follow the same. Oops, sorry. this function should follow the signature na a tile. Confusing? Confusing? Understandable? It really is just weird. Pero ganun talaga. It's a matter of you guys. You guys have to try it out yourself. And, well, actually, everything that you learn from in any coding, you have to try it yourself before you can actually. Then, after that, you would understand that. Yeah, okay, sige. See, we will discuss that later. It's the same thing. Okay, we'll discuss that later. Okay, so this is how you bind it. Calling it is as easy as just saying on exited dot broadcast. And si broadcast, it depends on ano nilagay mo. Again, the signature. So si a tile, which is this. Okay, so broadcasting, very easy. Binding, a bit complicated. So many extra steps, such as having your own function and whatever. Right? So, sige, test natin. Let's put in here if gengine. So right now I'm just gonna print out a message. So 0, 1.0, f color yellow, and hello world. Okay, so on begin play, I added I bound the on exit, and then I broadcast. So let us compile. And then if you play, oops, ano? So if I play this, hindi siya lumabas. And exited GNG on screen world. I broadcasted it. On exited. You know what? Just make it wonky na lang. On tick, on every tick, I'm gonna broadcast. See on exited. Because I think it couldn't bound it and broadcast it. It did it in the same. It did it in the same frame. So baka hindi niya na broadcast ay na bind ng maayos. So anyway, ayan, si Hello World. So di siya mawawala because I'm using the same key. Okay. Now if I removed the U function and compiled it, what do you think will happen kung ni-remove ko yung U function? Tama. Nasira yung unmute and she go, no, 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 no. That's not supposed to happen. uh, what's gonna happen is, sige, iba. What do you think will happen? Yung crashing, wala yun. That is not related to my code. Ayan, na-compile. Won't be visible via blueprint. Yung on exit, yung yung tinanggal ko ng u function. Hindi yung on exited. So, what's gonna happen is, hindi siya lalabas at all. Yung message. Because kasi walang u function, since wala siyang u function, hindi niya mabind ng maayos. So, always have u function when trying to bind a event dispatcher or a multicast delegate. Okay? Any questions there? Is there any things I need to clarify here in binding and broadcasting? Ano yung parameters ni broadcast? Yung parameter broadcast, it depends on your signature. So, okay. Gawin natin wala siyang signature. And this, I'll just call it no param. I'll just rename this also. You'll see that my onExited.broadcast does not have any more parameters. Right? So it really depends on your signature here. So kung ano yung signature mo dito, ano yung parameters ng broadcast. Okay? Any more questions before we proceed? Or you want more samples? None. Okay. Sige. Since nag-gets nyo naman, magagaling naman kayo. Okay? I trust in you guys. We can continue to our colliders. Now, when trying to bind events or whatever in colliders, diba sa Unreal, it's as easy as just itong collider box collision ko. It's as easy as going to the bottom and then click on the events like begin overlap, end overlap, right? Click mo, and ito yung lalabas, and all you have to do is just add whatever needs to happen. Right? Or here, if you right click here, ayun, add event, same thing. Add component, sleep, on hit, ayan, gagawa siya. So if it was that easy in code, it's a bit more complicated. If it's easy in Blueprint, it's a bit more complicated in C++. So if we try to access it here in code, see exit trigger, on component begin overlap. And you see here, it is a F component begin overlap signature, and then U primitive component, whatever. So this gives you an idea what's going to happen with this. So to bind a action, an event to on component begin overlap, dot add dynamic again, and then open close parenthesis. So a user object, for example, will be this. The question is, what is the function? What should the signature be? Or ano yung dapat yung mga parameters natin sa function? So if you recall, di ba alam natin yung parameters kasi andito. So we just have to find out ano yung mga nalagay dito sa signature. To do that, check the definition. Ayan, you see that this is the definition. F component begin overlap signature, yung pangalan. And then we check this signature mismo. Check the definition. And you will be greeted with this huge, wait lang. Ayan. This block of text. So if I open this, ayan, it's a bit crazy here. There's so many words, so many lines, whatever. But what's important is whatever yung signature yung hinanap mo. So again, peak definition, ito. Ito yung signature natin. F component begin overlap signature. Right? Wait lang. Okay. So, what's important here is the one after the name and this two. This is just the name of the uncommon begin overlap. Parang pangalan lang. So what's important is after that, all of this. Yan, ito yung importante. So again, we can skip this. Skip na rin yung itong new primitive component and yung on-component begin overlap. What's important is ito. So this one, I will copy this. Then I'll make my own function. Same thing, new function, void on exit. Unexited. Oh, I have unexited nga pala. On begin overlap. Then I put in the one I copied. So puro red siya because of all these commas. I will just delete the commas. Nope. Ayan. So you have view function, the name, and then the parameters. And then salpak natin to. Salpak natin to dito. So add dynamic, a ampersand, a tile, and then yung function, and you'll see tinangkap niya. Okay? So it's a bit tricky at the start, pero you'll understand it after you guys try it, if you try it out yourself. So again, let's try another one. Instead of on component begin overlap, let's try on component hit. So we have here the on component hit. Add dynamic. So it'll be this, and then ano yung function? Ano yung parameters na dapat? So if I pick the definition, I pick this definition, then we have this whole line. And what's important here is after the third. So 1, 2, 3. Ito yung gagamitin nyo. So I'll just copy this. I'll make my own function. Let's say u function void on hit. I paste whatever I just copied a while ago. Delete the commas. Yeah. And then I can add it here. A tile on hit trigger. Ayan, tanggap niya and it's all good. Well, how do you know if I'm not tricking you guys? So if I delete this last one, mag-red to. Because kulang. Oops. Kulang yung nalagay ko na ano. Feel free. I mean, kung trip nyo, you can always rename this to whatever. It'll still take it because we're following the parameters, which is ito. Okay? So, ito yung importante. Kuha naman. Do you guys understand it? So, you just have to follow. Yung definition. Hanapin nyo lang yung definition. So, if you have something else, like, what else? And overlap. Again, just follow the definitions. You'll get to its actual definition. I know, declare dynamic multicast. Parang kanina lang. And then, just get the everything after the third. Ito yung important. Okay? Yes? Kuha? So, ayun yung sasabi ko, Will. This is correct. For sure, yung overlap started niya is yung it has the same parameters. Parang ako yung gumawa nito But anyway. Hindi. Started pala. Hindi ko ginawa yan. It's alright. It's okay kung di nyo magets. It's something na you just have to kind of try it for yourself. And then, afterwards, you'll get used to it na. Okay, so testing natin. Wait lang. Unexited. Okay. So, gawin natin like how it's supposed to be done. So, I'll just delete this one. So, we have this function, right? I could check muna if my other actor could be casted to the run character. If cast a run character. See other actor. So if I know that it is a run character, I will call on exit. Then broadcast. So balik ko ulit yung Balik ko lang ulit yung one param. This. Okay, so what I did when a run character overlaps with a trigger, which I bounded here, on exit it will be called as a broadcast. Then, in, like for example, in our game mode, we have our virtual void begin play, override. There's supposed to be a loop here, a for loop here, pero kayo na bala dun. A tile. I will spawn the tile. So get world. Spawn actor, which should be a tile. And then you're supposed to have the right param here. And also you're supposed to have the, I forgot, the tile mismo. So the subclass of a tile class. Tama ba to? I think tama naman. So yung spawn ko is yung tile class, kung ano yung nalagay dito. And then, kayo na bahala sa position niya, location, spawn parameter. You guys can do that. Gawin ko, I will bind this. I will bind yung on exited. Add dynamic. So it will be this. And then, since I use this, I have to use yung whatever is inside game mode, which I have to create pa. I know that you can always pick definition. Ayan, okay. A tile. Sige. Gawa ko ng function na may a tile. On exit. A tile. And important, kailangan may u function. Oops. Yeah. So, kapag na-call si on exit, I will call si on exit here, which will just, let's say, for now, just give a message. G-engine, message, 0, 1.0, F color, yellow, player pass. Or play, exit, whatever. Okay. Again, what I did was, on begin play, I bound si on component begin overlap. So, kung na-call to, I will call on begin overlap trigger. Which is, what it will do is, I want to check lang kung run character ba si other actor. If it is, I will call on exited.broadcast. So in the game mode, on begin play, when I spawned the tile, I bounded the on exited to this function, which will just send a player exit. I hope you can follow that. You guys follow that naman, yung idea. So basically, if the player passes through the trigger, game mode will send a message. I really hope you guys are following. Okay, so gawin natin. It's gonna spawn here, but that's fine. If I play this, you see that hindi siya nag-spawn. Compile first. So I'm compiling all my changes. And I have to make sure that I set that tile class. Ayan, nag-compile. I go to my game mode. You will see that hindi ko nilagay yung uProperty. uProperty, edit anywhere. I will compile. Oops. Wala yan. Compile. Ayan. It should be here. Ito yung tile class. And I'll choose yung BP tile. Okay, compile. If I play this, it should have spawned a tile on 0, since I did not set the location. So if I pass through the collider, I think it's here. Ayan. It's calling player exit. So yung itong ginawa ko is something you would actually do in your project. You just have to change some stuff, but it is essentially doing this. Magsaspawn ka, pag exit ni player, magsaspawn ka ulit, which will bind again, and etc. Right? So if you remember ang ginawa niya sa Gamprog 1, you just have to do that in code. Why do we include in the CPP and not in the H? Okay, very good question. Why do we do that? It's because there's a chance that you might circle our dependency. Is that the word? Circular dependency. Yan. So what happens is, if, let's say, nag-include ka ng header. Let's say, nag-include ako ng tile.h here. And then sa tile.h, I included, God knows why, the ER game mode. What's going to happen is, they're including each other and they're gonna break. It's gonna break your code. Kasi parang lahat na mga dito, like si core minimal and the others, napupunta dito. Which yung ito has core minimal. So it's like nagsisircle sila. It's gonna end up, it's gonna break your code and then it's not even gonna run. So you'll notice that in the CPP, I never include any CPP here. We only include the headers. And even the header doesn't have access to the CPP. Only the CPP has access to the header files. That way, no circular dependency will happen. Gets? What was I going to say? Yeah, I was supposed to say something, pero anyway. Gets? You put enhanced controller on .h. Yung high chance kasi kung yung dito sa dito sa controller natin, if you added the enhanced controller here, baka meron siyang copy ng, sorry, yung enhanced control, oops, not the CPP, sorry. If you do the enhanced controller here, high chance it also has player controller. So parang magsa-circle ulit sila. Enhanced controller has player controller, and then this player controller has just circles around. It won't run properly. Ito kasi exception siya because we only use this as for the struct here. So if you see our input action value here, ayan, it is only an enum lang. It's a struct. It doesn't include anything else. So special siya. Okay. Any questions? Sure? No questions at all? Gets nyo? Hindi? That's all right. So, a good practice talaga is try to do it yourself. And then you will understand na how to do it. Kung nagawa mo na, parang mas gabay mo na yun eh. Yung code, how to code it. You eventually get used to everything here. All right. So again, last, no questions. Same, I will watch and try. Okay, yeah. That's all right. Usually mga ganito, that's why I have classes, face-to-face classes para matry nyo mismo. And then you will have questions for sure. But wala, no choice. Online tayo. Yeah. It's normal. I'm telling you, it's really normal na sasakit ulo niyo sa una. It has happened to me as well. I really have forgotten the C++ of Unreal noon because it's not something I really wanted to use. But here I am. I'm using it now. Mas na-gets ko na paano gumawa ng stuff. So, it's normal. It's normal. Okay. So, kung walang questions, really, I waited for this. Anyway, so, if wala ko yung questions, again, feel free to message me. If may questions kayo or may concern kayo or may problema kayo sa code, it's okay. You can ask me any questions, either here or sa private message mismo. Anything is fine. Okay. So, yeah, I will post this later and you can rewatch this. So, next week, di pa rin tayo face-to-face, and high chance na I'm just gonna have you guys work on the project. Pasahan, don't worry about the deadline. You're not really supposed. It's a soft deadline lang, meaning you're not gonna be penalized for submitting late. Okay. Ang importante lang is yung final milestone. Yes, tama. As long as di mo pass na midterms. Okay. Meron ba tayong class na wala ng pasok? this past few weeks? Wala, no? Tuloy-tuloy na tayo. Yeah, okay. No, that's alright. No, I was just thinking lang kasi if we had, I would have extended. Pero, yeah, ano ko, tuloy-tuloy tayo nito eh. It was just my Monday class na kailangan ko i-extend. But anyway, so, sige. If no, wait. Andito ba si Tan? Is there Tan? Tan is not here. Okay. Sige. Yeah, that's it for today. You guys can go. Kung may questions kayo, feel free to stay behind. Kung wala, then, yeah, ingat kayo. And, yeah, take care. Take care now.